We're back again this week with Stephanie Dobson. Stephanie is a lawyer and mediator at Henke Divorce Law and Mediation here in Lloydminster. And this is another episode of Healthy, Thriving Family After Divorce. Now, Stephanie, the past few weeks we've been talking about spousal support, and we're going to break it down even further today and talk about what happens when one spouse retires. So in case the viewers didn't see last week's episode or catch it all, let's talk about why retirement matters when it comes to spousal support.
Sure. So very briefly, spousal support can be changed in one of two ways, either by doing what's called a review of spousal support or a variation of spousal support. And again, these are legal terms. So in the context of retirement, spousal support could be reviewed if the court order or the agreement actually states that support is to be reviewed when one spouse retires. So essentially, it's provided for in the documentation. For a variation, the applicant wanting to change would have to prove that there's been what's called a material change of circumstances. And again, that's another legal term, since the order was made or the agreement was reached. So retirement in this case could certainly be considered such a material change of circumstances, but it's all depending on the facts. So I thought this would be an interesting topic given that there is a 2022 decision from the Court of Queen's Bench of Alberta called Kelly and Gammon, which addresses this very topic of the impact of retirement on support.
Well, and Stephanie, how do you know if retirement is actually considered a material change in circumstances?
Well, actually, the opening question in the decision of Kelly and Gammon is exactly this. So the court had to decide whether retirement was reasonable in the circumstances so as to allow this material change, warranting that change to spousal support. So the answer in that case was yes. So allow me to explain a little bit further. So in this case, the paying spouse's income at the time of the original order was $186,000. At the time of the original order, it had been contemplated that retirement was on the horizon, and this event happening, this retirement happening, would meet that materiality test. So the question then became, was the timing and the circumstances of the retirement defensible, or was it done to circumvent his spousal support obligation? And very often that's what these cases do turn on.
So what goes into the defensibility of retirement?
Well, there's a number of cases that help us to figure that out. And I thought I would just give a few examples here of where the court has accepted retirement as reasonable. So first, a payor's lifelong plans for retirement. So the court said in another case called Lewis and Lewis in 2009 that the decision of when to retire from a lifelong career is a personal matter into which the court should not interfere without exceptional circumstances. Second, there might be evidence that the payor qualified to take their full pension. So on the flip side to this, depending on the circumstances, the choice to take early retirement could actually work against the payor who's looking to change support based on those retirement plans. Third, the discussions during the relationship as to retirement plans. So the court in Kelly and Gammon stated that it's not unreasonable to have had plans during the relationship to retire at a certain age, and then argue that those plans are no longer reasonable post-separation. So you can't kind of change your mind post-separation that this was not reasonable.
So if retirement is a material change of circumstances, Stephanie, then what?
Well, if so, then the question becomes, well, what do we do with that support award? Is it reduced? Is it ended forever? Is there a limitation put on it, as in a certain number of more years, then it will end? Or sometimes it's even a step down approach. You know, for the next number of months or years, it's this amount, and then it's lower and lower and lower. So of course, there's a few different various options. So the question really comes down to whether the court will accept that retirement is reasonable and justified in the particular circumstances. So if so, then the question is, what is the income of the paying spouse's post-retirement? What is the income of the spouse post-retirement? And then what amount will be payable going forward? And if the court does not accept it, then the court can set an amount, an income level that it deems reasonable for the purpose of spousal support, as if the paying spouse was not retired.
All right, Stephanie, well, there's just so much when it comes to this subject. It's unbelievable the amount of different things that you have to consider when it comes to spousal support. If anybody is looking to get more information on this, Stephanie, what is the best way to reach you?
So they can call our office at 780-875-2234, or they can visit our website, henkadivorce.ca.
All right, Stephanie. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks, Stacey.